Today we need to get into a new music video teaser that came out of RM, which is very exciting. We also have RM apologizing and what that is about. And of course we have HYBE getting into talks about some explicit content. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Make sure you join us fangirling on Patreon with some free content on Saturdays now, and let's go. So there's recently been a lot of backlash at one of the higher executives and some of the decisions that he has made in the past. And this is interesting because I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And even if someone has participated in some pretty bad things in the past, as long as it's not something like killing someone or something like that, I do think that they should have a second chance. For example, a long time ago, it was socially acceptable to do various different things that are not considered socially acceptable now. I mean, not too long ago, maybe even just half a century ago, there were women who were being hit and spanked at work. Now, a lot of those men, if they still exist now, probably wouldn't do that anymore, knowing how awful it is and also knowing how it affects women now. But it just so happens that back then, these were not things that were known by the men, and I would even argue that the women didn't know it either because they felt like they were not allowed or that it wasn't safe to have those feelings or thoughts. And I'm not trying to justify this. I think it's awful that it ever was a thing and just the whole culture around women being objectified in general. But we have to understand that different time periods had different ideas on what was acceptable. So recently, a lot of netizens online dug up an old video game that apparently one of the executives of HYBE was working on. Now this game, and I don't really even know how much of the images I'm allowed to show here, but this game was very much an objectification of women, and I don't know what the point of this game was. If it was like a violence game that was also mixed in with some aspects of sex, but it's just so strange to mix those two things together. Not even going to get into my opinion on that because I think that is just so disgusting because horror movies do that too, and it's like, stop. And so a lot of people are wondering if he still feels that way about women, or is he still treating women that way? And we don't know that. But I can say that people have probably changed in the many years that they have progressed in life. And a lot of the stuff that they may or may have believed in, or maybe haven't believed in at all, and they were just doing it for a paycheck, they might regret those things now. Now, the reason why this is a concern is because there's a lot of new girl groups within the label. So a lot of people are wondering, are the executives treating the girl groups with such objectification or male gaze? And this is so much more beyond just a concern because a lot of the girls are very young and underaged. Of course, this game was also, it was believed or rumored at one point, even banned over the hypersexualization of female characters in there. So I don't even know how long it was even on the market in Korea, which is definitely a better thing, right? Of course, this is very alarming, right? To know that someone who is an executive and someone who is in charge of a lot of girls could potentially have participated in something like this. But then also, what does this say on what are the actions that they might do towards female groups? And are they going to promote female groups through means of objectification, or are they going to objectify these women from the get-go? And I see these concerns and can't really defend him for joining a video game company like that or a video game project like that. But I can say that he has likely changed. And if he hasn't really worked on any other projects since then and isn't currently a part of any projects like that, then I would say that that is fine. People can make mistakes and they can learn from them and grow. The fact that he may not be part of this group anymore probably also shows that he just didn't want to do it anymore. So as far as controversies go and as far as things that could be trending that are bad, I think this is one of the most interesting ones and can play a more commentary on people in our society and how we've grown or changed. Because no games like that, I don't think, are still happening now. I believe this game came out in 2003. So that was definitely more than 2 decades ago. A lot of that stuff has changed since then, right? There was no such thing really as even a social justice warrior in 2003. Of course, every time something trends, it's not all bad things. Most of the time, and a lot of the time, it's very fun and cute things. Recently, people have been bringing up some older live streams that RM has done, and this is because he is releasing some songs and an album. So people are digging up old stuff from him, and this is because every time a member decides to release new stuff, people like to go back to their old catalog and rewatch things and restream things. Now, an old live stream started to come back up into the topic of conversation, and people were saying that it was very cute. And someone asked RM during his stream what his favorite Pokemon was, and RM said that he wished that he would be called Pokenam, but he said it in a way that was a bit flirty. It was very cute, and it was kind of like him trying to put the moves on someone. But then, of course, he was saying this live, and I think he caught himself making these jokes, and then he did something which was interesting, which he then said, "Oh, I'm sorry," as if it was like a mistake, or he shouldn't say that, or let me fix my tone right now sort of thing. I don't know how to really describe it other than like if you're in a formal setting and maybe you're like hunched over and then you're kind of like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then you sit back up. Like, it wasn't a big deal, but he was still apologizing like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to do this sort of thing, right? And I thought a lot of this was very interesting because why did he feel the need to apologize over something like that? I didn't feel like what he said was suggestive. I don't think he said anything that was particularly rude. So it was interesting that he felt like he wasn't allowed to sort of joke and flirt and do that sort of thing during a live stream, which makes me wonder what type of restrictions they have for live streams and that sort of stuff. Are they not allowed to talk to their viewers or supporters in a way that is a bit more flirty and fun and all that sort of stuff? Or am I thinking way too deep into this and he said sorry because it was like, oh, let me just change the subject, and maybe sorry is a good way to kind of end the subject. But people thought it was cute that he apologized at that moment, and I think a lot of people found it very entertaining. And other people were making jokes saying that this is probably what it would be like if you were to date him. He would make these silly jokes or these silly puns all the time. Personally, I don't really understand what the joke he said was, and if anyone did, please explain it to me. What is a Pokénom? Is that like a play on the word on Pokemon because it sounds similar? Is that the joke? Now, if you're unaware, RM did release some music video teasers for it, so if you're unaware, he will be releasing the song Right Place, Wrong Person, and the internet has flooded with theories on what the song is going to be about. Now, he released the music video teaser, and the teaser consists of him at the beach and in the water, and he's shirtless. There was a photo that I believe was posted a little while ago where it appeared like there was a camera crew and it was on him on the beach, but he did have a shirt on, so people think that moment was like right before he took his shirt off and did the music video teaser. Now, many people were also wondering if there was an extended version of him going into the water, coming out of the water, and then he might have been naked with his private parts out, which I don't think is true. There were some people online who were trending and talking about this and very much kind of bringing up old moments in which you could see RM's, how you say, bulge, and so many people were talking about that and then talking about this moment where he goes into the water potentially naked. I think he obviously had swim trunks on, so there would not have been a completely naked moment, but even if there was, that footage would likely get deleted right away. But there have been cases that a lot of celebrities go through. They'll shoot more suggestive content or content where they are naked and the cameras are rolling even as they're trying to cover up, or like it's inevitable that they're going to leak stuff, right? Like we've seen celebrities shoot pictures where they're not even really wearing underwear, but it's like from the side, so you can't really see anything. But of course, the actual cameras are probably rolling even in front, so you'll end up seeing it even if you were there, or the cameraman would see it or whatever. And of course, female idols deal with this stuff all the time. Now, I don't think the BTS members are ever going to get to the point where they are actually fully naked on set, because that would just be too risque, and I don't think that that would ever be the type of content that they would ever want to make, because what content would come from that? Why would they want to show themselves that naked? I understand athletes wanting to do it, and a lot of athletes do it, but it's to show off their body. It's to also get people to bet on them because they look really buff and whatever. And so that is essentially a money-making move, whereas someone in BTS would have never had a reason to be completely naked. If anything, the only completely naked thing that they would probably do would maybe be wearing underwear and doing like a Calvin Klein shoot or something, but they would never have to be fully naked on set, regardless of what people think. I don't think RM was fully naked, and I don't think there was any clips online of his private parts or any of that stuff. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.